In a shocking turn of events that has sent shockwaves across the Middle East and the international community, Iran and Russia have jointly launched warplanes on the Israeli capital, Tel Aviv. The ostensible reason behind this unprecedented action is to show support for Gaza Palestine in the ongoing conflict with Israel. This brazen move by two major powers has not only escalated tensions in the already volatile region, but has also raised questions about the shifting alliances and motivations that underpin this audacious military action. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the most enduring and complex disputes in modern history, with roots dating back to the late 19th century. It has been marked by decades of violence, intermittent peace negotiations, and countless casualties on both sides. In recent years, the situation has deteriorated further due to a series of events, including the U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital, annexation plans in the West Bank, and tensions surrounding the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. These factors have led to periodic flare-ups of violence, with Gaza at the epicenter of many of these clashes. The Gaza Strip, a small coastal enclave on the Mediterranean, has been under the control of the Palestinian militant group Hamas since 2007. Israel and Egypt have imposed a blockade on Gaza, citing security concerns and the need to prevent the smuggling of weapons. The blockade has resulted in dire humanitarian conditions for the people of Gaza, with limited access to basic necessities like clean water, electricity, and medical supplies. This has further fueled resentment and resistance against Israel. Iran has been a vocal supporter of Palestinian causes, particularly those championed by Hamas. The Iranian government, led by hardliners, views itself as a steadfast defender of Palestinian rights and has provided financial, logistical, and military support to various Palestinian factions, including Hamas. Tehran sees the Palestinian cause as an important part of its regional agenda and uses it to project influence and assert its anti-Israel stance. Iran's involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not new. The country has supplied Hamas with weapons, including rockets and missiles, which have been used in attacks against Israel. Additionally, Iran has been accused of training and advising Palestinian militants in Gaza. These actions have contributed to Israel's perception of Iran as a direct threat to its security. Russia's involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, on the other hand, is a relatively new development and has been met with surprise and apprehension by many international observers. While Russia has historically maintained diplomatic ties with Israel and has a significant Jewish population, its support for the Palestinians has grown in recent years. The motivations behind Russia's involvement are multifaceted. Firstly, it is seen as a move to expand its influence in the Middle East, where it has been actively involved in Syria and other regional conflicts. By aligning itself with Iran and showing support for the Palestinian cause, Russia aims to strengthen its position as a key player in the region. Secondly, Russia has sought to balance its relationships in the Middle East. While maintaining its ties with Israel, it has also reached out to Arab countries, such as Egypt and Saudi Arabia. By supporting the Palestinians, Russia attempts to demonstrate its impartiality and willingness to engage with both sides of the conflict. The joint military action by Iran and Russia is a bold and provocative move. The warplanes launched on Tel Aviv are a clear signal that these two countries are willing to take direct military action in support of Gaza. The timing of the operation is significant, as it comes amid a surge in violence in Gaza and the West Bank, with casualties mounting on both sides. The military operation, however, has raised several important questions. Firstly, what specific goals do Iran and Russia hope to achieve through this action? Are they seeking to exert pressure on Israel to halt its military operations in Gaza, or to force international intervention? Alternatively, is this move aimed at boosting their own regional profiles and strengthening their alliance? Secondly, the international community's response to this operation remains uncertain. Will it be met with condemnation, or will it lead to renewed diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation? The United Nations and major world powers must grapple with the consequences of this operation and determine an appropriate course of action to prevent further violence. Israel's reaction to the joint military action has been swift and determined. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, addressing the nation, condemned the attack as an act of aggression against the State of Israel. He vowed to defend the country and its citizens from any threats. asserting Israel's right to self-defense. The Israeli Defense Forces immediately went on high alert, deploying missile defense systems and bolstering security measures across the country. Air raid sirens blared in Tel Aviv as residents sought shelter in bomb shelters. The situation on the ground is tense, with the Israeli public understandably anxious about the potential for further hostilities. Israel has also called for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council to address the crisis and demand an international response to the actions of Iran and Russia. The Israeli government is likely to seek diplomatic support from its traditional allies, including the United States, which has historically been a staunch supporter of Israel. The joint military action by Iran and Russia has sent shockwaves through the international community, prompting a variety of responses from countries and organizations around the world. While some nations have condemned the attack as a dangerous escalation, others have called for restraint and diplomatic solutions. The U.S. State Department issued a strong statement condemning the attack on Tel Aviv and expressing unwavering support for Israel's right to defend itself. The United States has historically been a key ally of Israel, and this incident is likely to strain relations between the U.S. and Iran and Russia even further. EU leaders called for an immediate ceasefire and a return to diplomatic negotiations. The EU has long advocated for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and has expressed concern over the recent violence in Gaza and the West Bank. The United Nations Secretary General has called for an emergency meeting of the Security Council to address the crisis. The international body will be tasked with assessing the situation and determining a suitable course of action to prevent further escalation. Arab League member states expressed solidarity with the Palestinians and called for an immediate end to Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. The League also condemned the joint military action by Iran and Russia, viewing it as a destabilizing factor in the region. China called for restraint and urged all parties to return to negotiations. China has traditionally maintained a balanced stance in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and has called for a peaceful resolution based on international law. Joint military action underscores the fluid and evolving nature of alliances in the Middle East. It blurs traditional lines of alignment, as Russia, a country with historical ties to Israel, stands shoulder to shoulder with Iran in supporting the Palestinians. This shift could lead to recalibrations of alliances across the region, as nations reevaluate their partnerships and seek to navigate the changing geopolitical landscape. The situation in the Middle East remains highly fluid and fraught with danger. The joint military action by Iran and Russia has introduced a new dimension to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one that carries the potential for further escalation and regional instability. In the immediate future, it is crucial for the international community to work tirelessly to bring about a ceasefire and de-escalation of tensions. Diplomatic efforts must be intensified to prevent further loss of life and destruction in Gaza and Israel. The United Nations, with the support of key world powers, should take a leading role in facilitating negotiations between the parties involved. Additionally, it is essential to address the root causes of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, including the long-standing issues of borders, settlements, and the status of Jerusalem. A comprehensive peace plan that addresses the aspirations and concerns of both Israelis and Palestinians is needed to achieve a lasting solution. The joint military action by Iran and Russia on the Israeli capital, Tel Aviv, has thrust the Israeli-Palestinian conflict into a dangerous new phase. This brazen move has escalated tensions in the region and raised questions about the motivations and goals of these two major powers. As the international community grapples with the aftermath of this operation, the immediate focus must be on de-escalation, ceasefire, and the prevention of further loss of life. Diplomatic efforts, led by the United Nations and supported by key world powers, are crucial in this endeavor. Ultimately, a peaceful and lasting resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict will require addressing the root causes and the grievances of both sides. Achieving this goal will require the commitment and cooperation of all parties involved, as well as the unwavering support of the international community in the pursuit of a just and lasting peace in the Middle East. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure the notification bell is turned on so you don't miss a video.